So why don't we take a quick turn into Boggy Creek now?
Put on your hip waders.
I remember that movie. I don't know if I actually saw it or if I just saw the trailer. That one wasn't a big one for me, but I was reintroduced to it thanks to Hunter here. And then he started telling me about the Fouke monster, and so I couldn't wait to get you two together to talk about this. So Hunter, jump in with the questions. But how'd you first go after the Fouke monster?
Well, when I saw The Legend of Boggy Creek in the 70s in drive-in, it really connected with me because we, like I said, I'd grown up hunting with my father. We hunted in Texas, license was, but when we did camping, we always went to Arkansas. I think my mom thought that was more beautiful countryside. So I'd been in and out of all those places, and I'd passed through all these small towns that always kind of creepy to me. When I was a kid and you pass these little towns, just there's something creepy going on here.
Yeah.
When I saw The Legend of Boggy Creek, prior to that, I believe, Bigfoot lived in the Pacific Northwest, and it was spooky, but it was way over there. It was way up somewhere else. But when I saw it in the theater, and I'm thinking, you're telling me this is in the places where we camp? And I mean, it blew my mind. And of course, it was a great movie, and it was scary and effective. And it just had always just been a part of me, a part of my blood ever since. And started writing for RUE MORGUE and decided I wanted to write a book or some articles or something. Well, in fact, I was kind of looking to write an article on it. And then I started doing some research. Realized, actually, there's so much to this, and there's still been sightings. So, man, this would make a great book. And that's how I kind of got on the subject. But it's something, and probably always will be my thing. I mean, the Fouke monster, the Legend of Boggy Creek is my, I'm just sort of the guy who has done so much research and collected artifacts from the movie, and I own the original oil painting from the movie poster. I mean, I'm just
wow,
all ended up with Boggy.
You're officially part of the DNA.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. How cool is it that writing that book leads to things like being on Finding Bigfoot? That's my non-guilty pleasure. I have no guilt that I watch that every episode, knowing that they're not going to find it, because if they did find it, it would be on the news before it ever aired. But
right.
I don't care. It's a search that's fun.
Yeah, because those episodes are filmed so far in advance. But yeah, I mean, it's mind-blowing to me. I mean, the whole thing is mind-blowing, just from the fact that I wrote a book about something I love, I'm fascinated with, and I felt that I brought forth so much to the story, things about leading up to the making of the film, how the film was made, and then the fact that there's been sightings ever since that nobody's really aware of. Yep. To sort of immerse myself in that, if I go to Fouke now, I mean, the mayor comes up and shakes my hand. I can I can go into this little convenience store called the Monster Mart, which has actually done a lot since I've written the book to become sort of a museum for the Fouke monster. I can go in there and people just start coming in, and they know me, So it is mind blowing that all that, and TV shows start calling. I helped out the Monsters and Mysteries episode. We did the Fouke monsters, and then obviously when Finding Bigfoot and the guys were going down there, they said, "Man, we got to get the local historian on this. We got to get Lyle." So it's an honor to be known as that and to be able to contribute to the legend, so to speak, and keep it moving forward. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's got to feel like a dream. A movie that you watched as a kid that you were so terrified of and enthralled with, and now you're part of it. You're the guy who people will go to now if they have questions about that.
You wrote the book on it.
I wrote the book on that, which is, I mean, it's great, because if I could pick one thing to do in my life and to be known for or to be an expert on, it would be The Legend of Boggy Creek. And that's exactly what happened. Unbeknownst to me, I just simply decided I'd write a book, and I thought that would be cool. So
you're a lucky guy. Now, just piggybacking on Finding Bigfoot, out of Bobo, Cliff, Matt, and Renee. If you had to pick one to go squatching with, who would you pick and why?
Well, I like all the cast members. We get along great, and I've met them several times over the past several years. But I'd have to probably say Cliff, simply because we've become good friends. We talk on the phone, and we kind of have the same sensibilities about squatching, I guess.
Right.
And I looked up to him before I ever knew him. I'd heard some podcasts with him, kind of some Bigfoot instructional things and so forth. He was always just spoke so well, and he seemed so level-headed and calm and enthusiastic about it.
Enthusiastic that's the word I'd best describe him.
Yeah, and it comes across in the show. And so, we've gotten to be friends, and so it'd be great to go squatching. We talk about doing it, but obviously both of us are so busy. But Bobo is an awesome dude, and if we could all go, it'd be great. So
off camera, is Bobo in a perpetual state of slow motion as he appears on screen? He has these very even, slow strides, and he just is.
Yeah, he is. He's just working in a different time format than the rest of us. But I mean, he's a sharp guy. That's the funny thing. He comes off as kind of, I guess the slow makes him seem kind of dumb or something. I know, but he's very sharp, and he just delivers things slower, which is cool because I kind of like hanging out with him for that fact, because you feel kind of good when you're hanging with Bobo. He just slows the pace down and everything's cool,
You know what? Here in New York, we could use more Bobos.
Yeah.
We need to relax a little bit here and take a breath.
Right.
You don't understand how crazy Hunter is going in his head right now, because he's talking to people that are it's like the Kevin Bacon connection here. He's so close to the Finding Bigfoot guys right now. He's going mental.
Yeah. Why do I get my Bobo tattoo over the weekend?
That's weird. You say that because they posted a picture on the Ohio Bigfoot Conference Facebook, and it's Bobo's birthday today. And they posted a picture. It was me and Bobo together, and we're holding my book. Nice. And I was going to make a comment on there. I go, well, I guess my next tattoo to fill up my forearm is going to be a Bobo tattoo. I almost typed that today, but just, I swear to God, it's so weird.
We can go to the same time and get them done.
There you go, man. It'd be awesome.
I need something new.
Lyle, you got to come up to New Jersey in October to the Chiller Theater Convention. They do it in Parsippany.
I've been to Chiller once.
Then you can head on over to the Pine Barrens and go look up the Jersey Devil next.
Hell, we'll go with you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I love Chiller. Unfortunately, I've only been up there once. It was it's been about 1998 or 9.
Oh, wow.
It's been a long time, but there's so many of those horror conventions that go on, and I've been involved with so many of them that have me as a guest or something, and of course they all kind of happen at the spring or fall.
Yeah.
That I can never get to Chiller because, well, I mean, most of these have me as a guest or something, so I mean, I can sort of attend them as well as, have the trip pay for itself.
Yeah, if we can get you in a movie, if you can be in the remake of Beast of Boggy Creek, then you will be an actor, and they will have you there as a guest. And you'll make a ton of money signing autographs.
Right. Yeah. If I just had those acting credits. I mean, I've got some cameos in movies, but yeah, it doesn't add up to being in a hit horror movie. That's the biggest attraction at those things. So.
Yeah, exactly. I go there to sell books, and I'm like, does anybody read? Or did everyone spend all their money getting an autograph from the third person killed in Nightmare on Elm Street 3?
I know, man. I'm actually surprised at how many people do read, because I'm selling books. Everybody's like, nobody reads anymore, but I sell a lot of books. I'm like, somebody's reading. I mean, not as many as in George Romero's line or whatever.
Yeah.
I get enough.
Oh yeah, I was shocked when I was at Horror Hound a couple of weeks ago. A bunch of us with Sam Hain Horror, we sold out by Saturday night. There was nothing left, which. Sweet. You go to some cons and you're sitting there with your books begging people, I'll give you 2 if you buy 1. So
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some. I've definitely been at some where, people just don't want to have nothing to do with it, and some of them there's a line, so
Yeah,
who knows?
hit or miss.
Yeah.
So what are you going after next? Maybe Loch Ness Monster, or what's the one in Lake Champlain?
Champ.
Champ.
Well, Champ is good. I think there's some credible sightings of that creature, definitely. I don't know. I've got a few things. I mean, I may return to the Sasquatch topic simply because I have collected and come across so many people with some absolutely great stories and reports from the whole southern area. So I might actually try to do a book where it's more, encompassing of multiple states and not just focused on one cryptid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Boggy Creek, it works because it's so famous. Lizard Man is a little more obscure, and certain people are going to get into it, but I may try one that's a bit wider range. So some kind of a southern Bigfoot. I'm just figuring out how I can do so much and still include so much of myself in it, like I did with the other books. I think that kind of puts the narrative, an ongoing narrative rather than this happened here, this happened here. I don't
I
want to
enjoyed that.
So I've got to find the right cryptid, because it's hard, because you start running into, there's a lot to Boggy Creek. There's a lot of aspects of the Lizard Man case, but you start getting down to some of these others, there's just not very much to it.
Yeah.
So I have to try to find ones that have enough of a story,
I think I hinted to you in an email or exchange or something. There's a place in New York, not far from the city. It's about 50 miles north of the city in Orange County. I used to go up there in the 80s and 90s. There was a huge UFO flap up there that's still going on. It's never stopped. And in this one town, which is not far from where Whitley Strieber was being abducted in the early 80s, in that town alone, there is a haunted cemetery where people have seen spirits walking through the cemetery for 40 years. There are UFOs. There are Sasquatch sightings up there. There's aliens. I mean, if you ever wanted to just maybe get enough material to retire, I think if you went there for about a month, you probably get everything. Although they did make stargazing illegal. So you will get a fine if you pull over your car to just look up at the night sky.
So as long as you're looking down,
it's really crazy because so many people used to go there.
Yeah.
They got a little nuts because it's all farmland up there. I mean, it has no relation to New York City whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, there's just so much of this stuff out there, and there's so many cases. And in fact, I just kind of keep outlining different books, and it's becoming harder now. Whereas when I wrote Boggy Creek, it was just like, subject I'm going for. When you think anything beyond that, and now it's like, oh man, what am I going to do next? I got to top the last book. I've got all these ideas, so it's becoming more challenging in a way, and I want to keep delivering really good books, which takes me a long time. If you're like, when's your next one? I'm like, man, these things take a while because I have to go to the place. I have to, there's a lot involved, and expense too. I mean, half the time, I think Lizard Man, I think I spent more money going there, paying the cover artist, paying the artist that did the stuff and all that stuff than I ever made on it. So
yeah, people don't realize. I think people still think that writers just get paid oodles of money and they let us go everywhere we want. It's not that at all.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, maybe if you can get enough books out there and you make a little off every one, then you're doing good. So it's a matter of getting from having only one or two books to having a catalog like Lauren Coleman. I mean, he's got a lot of books, so it's an advantage once you get further down the line. So I'm just trying to get there, and I've got some opportunities with some TV shows as well and things like that. So I sort of balance between, the author guy and the guy who, does some TV, and it helps promote everything, and it's fun to do. So I just kind of go where it's fun, because that's the whole bottom line. I enjoy doing it, and whatever I do, it's got to be fun for me. I don't just do it because, hey, which what monster will make me the most money? Because that's just not the case,
No, especially when you put the words monster and money in the same sentence.
Yeah.
You're not walking down the right path that way.
Right. It's just, that's a hard road. So, but I love monsters, and that's why I do this stuff. And so, as long as I can just kind of get by, I guess for the time I spend, I'm cool with it.
And that's why you set such a high bar. You're your own worst enemy now. You've set the bar so high now. You got to keep jumping over that.
Yeah, in a way, that's true. And Anomalous Books, that's done both my books. They're kind of like, what are you going to do next?
Exactly. Can I get 2 a year?
Yeah. So, but I appreciate them because they've kind of put the stamp of approval on my books, whereas I didn't really have a perspective on, are the books good or not? And the Lizard Man was challenging, so I sent it over to Anomalous, and these guys have been doing this for years and years. They know these subjects, and if they literally, I sent it to them, and then the next day they said, we want the book. It was that fast.
Wow.
They're like, it's cool, it's awesome, we think it's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, it's cool. I'll go with that.
Let me tell you, the Lizard Man cover, whatever you paid that guy, was worth it. That is a badass cover.
That is bitching.
Yeah, and that was a tricky one. It's like, what concept do I go with as far as how reptilian or how human? And he came up with some other concepts, and they looked a little not as good as that. And I think he did that on a rough sketch or something. I'm like, dude, that's it right there. And so once I saw it, I'm like, yes, that's captures the kind of vibe that people associate with the Lizard Man.
Yeah. Talk about tattoo worthy. On the back, the picture on the back, that would be good on the leg.
Yeah, and that thing on the back was it was originally one of the various concepts for the front. And so, I'm like, dude, that was almost there. If you just kind of polish up that concept you did for the front that we didn't use, let's put it on the back. So I kind of got a twofer on that, luckily.
Yeah. That's what sucks about Kindles.
Yeah, sorry about that. In fact, I've never even seen my book. I don't own one. So I've never actually looked at how my book looks on one of these.
I'll tell you what, it's really convenient. I like that. I've read on an iPad before, and it's a little too heavy. I got this for Christmas, and I wanted to read the book as fast as I could, and so you can get the Kindle. You can get it in a second. I think I'm gonna have to hit you up for the Boggy Creek, the actual hard copy, because there's certain books you just want to have on your shelf.
Yeah,
that's why
Anomalous actually did some hardback versions of it. It was selling so well, they don't normally do that, but it was about a year after it had originally released in paperback, they came back and said, hey, we're going to do a few books in hardback, and this is one of them, which was awesome because the cover's awesome, and I was like, now, wow, I got a hardback book. It was cool.
Exactly. Now, you said you're going to be at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference April 26th, which is coming right up.
Right.
What can folks expect at the con who've never been there before? What are you going to be doing?
My presentation is going to be on the continuing story of the Fouke monster. In the past, they've had Smokey Crabtree as a guest and speaker up there, and he's kind of delved into a little bit of the history, at least as he's associated with it. So, they felt that it would be cool to get some of the more current stuff, even some of the stuff that's happened since my book has came out, because there's been other sightings. So I'm going to kind of just give people a background on, bring them up to speed on Legend of Boggy Creek if they haven't seen it, but kind of go into the stuff that's happened since the 70s that most people don't know as much about.
Yeah.
So, but it's a great honor to be chosen. That's one of the biggest and most successful Bigfoot conferences going out there. I mean, it attracts hundreds and hundreds of people, and I mean the speaker lineup is Bob Gimlin, Cliff Barrickman, Finding Bigfoot, Charlie Raymond from the Kentucky Bigfoot organization. I mean, he's a well-known, long-time researcher. And then Tom Yamarone, he's sort of he's in the Bay Area in California. He's a long-time Bigfooter, you know, a guy I've known about and looked up to. And then there's me. I'm like, how did I rate this awesome, you know,
Hey,
lineup?
you're the gang now. You can't get out. You're in.
Yeah, so it's quite an honor that I was chosen to speak, and it's going to be great fun. It's at Salt Fork State Park, so it's actually out in a place where there's actually been some sightings in that area. It's, you know, it's not just in the big city, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to do some hiking and camp. You know, they do some camp outs and cookouts and the whole deal.
Oh, that's a cool fun.
Event, so very cool.
Jack, I know you've got a question. I can see it bubbling inside you.
I was just curious, actually. You said something about current evidence and sightings with the Lizard Man and Boggy Creek. Has there been anything recently? Has there been any kind of video or photographs recently?
Well, there hasn't been any photos or video, but in the case of the Fouke monster, there has been several sightings over the last couple of years. And the good thing about the sightings now is typically they get routed to me somehow. You know, the Fouke monster hotline.
You're the guy.
So, whereas a lot of the older ones, you know, I'm kind of interviewing witnesses who, you know, had an experience, you know, many years before or whatever the case. Now, if somebody sees something or has an experience, I can interview them, you know, pretty soon after. And I can go up there and I can talk to them and we can go to the road. It's kind of like finding Bigfoot, you know. I get my buddy to stand out there and we try to figure out if, you know, this person saw what they said they saw. And there's been several sightings. A girl a couple of years ago was driving actually pretty near Boggy Creek on one of the local roads out there, and she saw a big figure standing near a hay bale, and she kind of slowed down and kind of looking at it thinking, man, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Because everybody in that area kind of knows, you know, I mean. Yeah. And she just kind of continued down, and about that time the thing just darts out, runs across in front of the car within about 5 to 10 feet, jumps over a barbed wire fence and runs off. And she could see it pretty well and said it was huge. It was covered in hair. It, you know, it bounded across the road in just a couple of steps. And, you know, she had phoned her mother and a friend and some other people we actually interviewed along with her. And so that seemed like a pretty credible sighting. And that was just one example. You know, there's been another guy recently that actually saw a juvenile about 4 foot tall up close, like within like 20 or 30 feet from him for a short period of time. So fascinating stuff. And this was a place I was literally there about 2 days before this guy had a sighting. In the same, I mean, right there, right on the same space. So,
well, sooner or later, the fates owe you a sighting of your own there.
I think so. But of course, will anybody believe me? Like, I was driving up there to do a book signing at the Monster Mart when the book came out, and I always scan the woods, even when I'm driving on. I'm thinking, you know, if I actually did see that thing right now, and I went in, hey, I saw it. Oh, right. You're on the way to your book signing, and you saw the Fouke monster. Ain't nobody going to believe me.
Even if you had video, they'd be like, uh-huh.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
like, oh,
friend make that.
Yeah. I better make sure I got my buddy with me so he can verify that sighting.
Exactly.
It's like getting a hole-in-one. You got to have a witness.
Right. Exactly. You know, I mean, I've had about 5 or 6 holes-in-ones, man, but nobody was there to see it.
Now, I know we'd love to kidnap you all night and just keep you here and pick your brain till there's nothing left, but I know sooner or later we have to let you go. But we can't let you go before we find out what is your all-time favorite horror movie, and then what's your favorite monster, real or imagined?
Well, I won't say the Legend of Boggy Creek simply because we've talked that. So let me go with my other, and it's hard to pick a favorite anyway. So I think my other, man, it's real hard. as far as just horror movies, The Shining with Jack Nicholson is one of my favorites. I'm a big Jack Nicholson fan, so The Shining is one of my all-time favorites. Behind that, maybe King Kong, as far the classic King Kong, as far as old school monsters. But my favorite movie monster would be the creature from the Black Lagoon. And obviously I've been a collector of that, and I've even got a few autographs from Ben Chapman, the guy that played the creature in the suit.
Yeah.
So that'd be my favorite movie monster, I think.
All right, Jack, you're no longer my brother from another mother.
I'm out.
Lyle and I, we're here with the creature from the Black Lagoon.
You guys really, I'm telling you.
You have your Dracula, Jack.
That's awesome. Yeah, but there's something about a green, a big green monster. I've always just fascinated with that since I was a kid. So
that was the first 3D movie they showed on TV when we were kids.
Yeah.
That you go to the 7-Eleven and get the Revenge of the Creature.
Yeah. I think I've got some glasses from that somewhere around here. Some memorabilia stuff. But yeah, super cool. And he's always more collectible to me because they always do Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, Wolfman. Not always the creature. So he's always a little bit more rare and always a little bit more collectible.
Yeah.
As far as having that. My friend did this, and I put it in my book. He did this fantastic new rendition of a creature from the Black Lagoon poster. It's a silk screen poster. In the book, it's prints in black and white, but it is the coolest thing ever. And it's like a custom, silk screen, high quality. Awesome. Man, it's super cool.
Yeah, I've got some creature stuff. In fact, I found this little one because most people don't even know about The Creature Walks Among Us. They don't even know that movie exists.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't pass this up. This is the first time I've actually seen something with him wearing a little suit.
Yeah, it's cool. I love that. I've got the Sideshow 12-inch Creature Walks Among Us figure.
Oh, so. Awesome. Yeah, you got the house I think we all want to go live in.
Now I got to quickly just show you the coolest thing I got lately. It's not Bigfoot related, but it's the coolest bobblehead I ever have seen.
This guy's Mr. Bobblehead. Listen.
Oh.
But it's the whole bed.
It's the whole bed.
Yeah. Yeah, that is cool.
I was like, oh my God. So this was my official, I'm going down your road, where I was like, I got to start getting cool stuff. So listen, I think we've taken up enough of your time, but we would love to have you back anytime you want. We're going to talk about your stuff on our show and plug you on our Facebook page because you're doing all kinds of stuff that our crowd loves. So this is, like I said, we could talk to you all night. So I can't tell you thank you enough for joining us. Is there anything you want to sort of just plug before we go?
Yeah, where can people find out about you and your books and your appearances and everything?
The best starting point would be my website at lyleblackburn.com, Lyle Blackburn.com, and that's got links to everything that I do, links to where you can purchase the books, more information on the books, the creatures, my upcoming appearances like at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, Texas Frightmare Weekend, which is coming up in May.
Yep.
So that's the best place to go, and that you can pick your flavor of book and go from.
Awesome, man. I mean, it was an honor having you on here. I mean, I've been
appreciate it
since I read Boggy Creek.
Well, destined to happen. So I appreciate you guys getting me on. We'll have to do this again down the road. If I get something else to exciting to do, we'll come back and talk some more monsters.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Anytime you got a few beers in you and you want to talk some horror movie you just saw, call us up.
Cool. I'm working on some cool things with RUE MORGUE too that I think in the coming future it might be a good topic to discuss. So I'll keep you posted on that. And
awesome.
It's cool. Yeah, I totally appreciate it.
All right, man.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot, Lyle.
All right, man. Well, have a great night, and thank you so much.
You betcha. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Grr, arg.